question was about shooting here outside the US. I have directed a film in India previous to this, and that was the film called The Ashram with Galpen. And so I actually am quite excited to shoot films outside of the US. There's incredible stories and incredible talent, and also filmmaking communities all over the world, and Manila was no exception. I feel very fortunate to have top level both artists and technicians. Shooting in the Philippines has its own unique challenges. We decided pretty early on to shoot in some of the real neighborhoods where this was happening. And that was a big decision to make because there was a lot of talk about should we shoot on a film set. This is takes place in some very violent neighborhoods. And so, shooting in the real location was a challenge in that, you have less control of the circumstances. Weather was an issue. We got hit with some typhoons. It was not an easy shoot. It was a very intense labor of love. But I think that authenticity is something you can't reproduce, and that truth was always the guiding principle of this. And so for us, to make sure that if we're telling a story truthfully about the people that are living, through these circumstances, it's very important that their faces and their communities are represented truthfully. And for me, I felt a huge responsibility as a foreigner coming to tell this story, that if we didn't tell it truthfully, that it would actually be disrespectful for the people that it was about and for audiences here. So we did a tremendous amount of research and homework to make sure that it's represented. And people say filmmaking is telling a story. I actually think filmmaking is deeply listening to stories around you and that reproducing that authentically. And so for me, it was really just every detail to make sure it was truthful. And so my hope is that the film will have an authenticity and resonate with audiences here, but it will also be completely different than anyone's seen before, because it's coming sort of filtered through a universal lens. And so, like I was saying earlier, cinema has the power to transcend across divides. Like people in France and in Los Angeles and in New York and have seen this film and connected to it on a human level. And my hope is here also that it can connect across different groups of people to see the humanity in all of us.
How long did it take to finish the whole film?
We shot the film over 16 days, and then it was a long post-production. It ended up being about a year of post-production. And that's just also how things, in Hollywood they spend a lot more time, so it was just a little bit longer in that regard. So I guess about a year and a half total.
And would you be interested in doing other films in the future here?
I would certainly be open to it. I think it's really about the story itself. Is there something that I connect to that because it's a long process to make a film. So if there was other stories, we've even talked about a sequel to watch this with Miko. But when you see the film, you'll know why that is a conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.